Yo, what's good, everyone? We back at it, man. Finally got the mic back up, got the camera back up, and just want to give my quick thoughts about some recent developments that have happened. I know that it is not like official. I know Errol Spence has said that he will be making an announcement soon, but there are several reports out there that the fight will be between Errol Spence and Keith Thurman. So I guess in a way I am kind of jumping in the cart before the horse. But nonetheless, man, for me, quite honestly, I'm very confident that will be the next fight. It'll be Errol Spence and Keith Thurman. I would say I'm like 85% confident that's what the next fight's going to be. And so I just wanted to give you guys my personal opinion about it. There is a poll going on in the chat right now. Let me know what you think. Go ahead and get the likes all the way up as well. Let the people know that you're in here in the building to talk some boxing. The poll is very simple. Okay. Is the Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman the best possible fight to make? Yes, no, or not really, but no choice. So those are the options that you can choose. I'm curious to see how this poll unfolds. We got Mangus Allen in the building. Salutes my man Mangus Allen, the first one in the building, letting the people know that we got to get up to those 30 likes. That's the first goal tonight. We got Calvin Ringo. What's good, Calvin? Congratulations, Calvin. You have been rinsed up. I've been noticing you dropping by quite often, showing a lot of love and appreciation to the channel. So you have been rinsed up. Much appreciation. We got SM in the building, an official member of the channel, SM. I see he's got that golden lion next to his name. The golden lion means that you have supported the channel as an official member for more than 6 months. So much love and appreciation to my man, SM. We got Sheena in the building. What's good, Sheena? Salute to you. Don in the building. What's good, Don? Lenar. I know Lenar's got a lot to say about this fight. He's been talking about this fight and promoting this fight for a very long time. What's good, Lenar? K-Rod in the building was good. And, of course, we got Deanna Branch in the building. So, as we know, the whole reason why, Errol Spence essentially is scrambling for an opponent, and not to discredit any opponent that he decides to face next, but the fact of the matter is, he is kind of scrambling around to find an opponent, and the main reason for that is because we know, right? The fight between him and Bud Crawford fell through. It fell apart. And of course, that's the fight that we all wanted to see. That is the fight that we should be seeing, quite honestly. All right. There shouldn't be no Bud versus some number 6 guy or Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman. I mean, there just shouldn't be. And that's no disrespect to Keith Thurman. That's no disrespect to anybody. But the fact of the matter is, the timing was right. They're both in their prime. They're both coming off of victories, and they couldn't get it done. So here we are. And I knew this was going to happen. I knew that this was going to happen. I knew that if Bud makes the move first to find an opponent first, it'll put Errol Spence in kind of a tough position to make a decision on who he's going to fight next. Now, I pretty much knew in the back of my mind since probably the beginning of this year that if Errol Spence doesn't fight Bud, it'll be Keith Thurman. Especially if Keith Thurman is victorious in his most recent fight, which he was, then I knew that was going to be plan B. So for me, I'm not surprised at all. I see my man Lennar in the super chat, man. Much love, bro. I appreciate you appreciating the channel as always, Lennar. I might let you come in here and cook, man, if you want. Let me see how it goes tonight. But I'm going to go ahead and get my thoughts out right real quick. Omega Red in the building. Shout out to my man Omega. Always good to see my man Omega Red. Also an official member of the channel. I see he's got the black Spartan helmet. So you know he's been out here supporting the channel as an official member for quite some time. We got 20 people in the building and only 11 likes. It should be automatic, people. Automatic. You come in, you know what I'm saying? You ring the doorbell, you take your shoes off. All right. I live out in Asia for the better part of a decade. Out here, we take our shoes off before we enter the house. All right. It's custom. So hit the damn like button, get the likes all the way up. I see my man Ricky Williams in the building. What's good, Ricky? I haven't seen you in a minute, bro. I hope you're good out there. Hope you and the family are good. He says, "What's good, bro? Divine, I'm okay with it. Bud ran out on the plug. It is what it is. PBC been wanting this fight. Yeah, 100%. 100%. 100%. M Stacks 85 in the building. What's good with you? Mr. Punch Out Boxing MMA. What's good? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Long time. So look, let me give you guys my thoughts. All right. Like I said, I'm not surprised that this will probably be the next fight. You know, it's not officially official. And I know a lot of people don't like to jump in the cart before the horse, but I'm gonna do it. Fuck it. Like I said, I'm 85% sure that this is the next fight. There's nowhere else for Errol Spence to really go. You know, who is he gonna fight? Is he gonna fight Boots? I know a lot of people would love to see that fight, but at the end of the day, Keith Thurman's still there. Keith Thurman's not retired. He's still active. He's a PBC fighter. It's an easy fight to make, an easy fight to promote. The only obstacle that they have to go over is, you know, is Keith Thurman washed up? I mean, that's pretty much what the narrative is. And most of us know, if you are objective enough and honest enough, I mean, Keith is not the same fighter that he was 5 or 6 years ago. He's just not. Okay, you already saw the decline when he faced off against Pacquiao. You know, quite frankly, he was supposed to take care of Pacquiao with relative ease, and he did not. Because, you know, we all saw what Mayweather did to Pacquiao, and I'm not saying that Keith Thurman's on Mayweather's level, but Keith Thurman is a younger man compared to Mayweather when Mayweather fought Pacquiao. He had hand speed, boxing ability. He had some pop behind his punches. And everybody was saying, well, you know, Mayweather, he can't hurt Pacquiao. But maybe Keith can, because, you know, Keith has been known to have a little bit more pop behind his punches, especially at welterweight. But he had his difficulties, obviously, and he lost the fight against Manny Pacquiao. So we know that he's not the same. He's not the same one-time Keith Thurman anymore. All right? And that's going to be the most difficult part for PBC to try to sell this fight is to try and encourage the public that Keith Thurman's still a threat, that he can give Errol Spence trouble. And to be honest with you, I don't know if Keith Thurman really has that fire in him anymore. I'm just going to keep it a buck. I don't know if he does. You know, Keith Thurman talks a lot of shit. He says a lot of different things here and there. And I do believe at one point in time, he did want to fight Errol Spence. He did. I'm not saying that he didn't want to or that he was afraid. I think they both wanted to fight each other, but it just didn't play out when it should have played out. But Keith Thurman's no fool. He knows he's not the same that he was 5-6 years ago when he was trying to get the Errol Spence fight, and he was on that campaign of "Don't duck me, son. Don't duck me, son," and all that shit, right? So I don't know if he has that same fire. I really don't. And he has to do. I mean, look. Will I watch the fight? Yes. Will I commentate on the fight, predict the fight, and do what I normally do? Is it worthy of my attention and energy? Yeah, it is. I'm not saying that, oh, this is a dog shit fight. It's a terrible fight. No. But what I am saying is that it doesn't have the same luster that it once had. And, you know, if Errol Spence goes in there and beats the brakes off of Keith Thurman, like, I mean, are we really that surprised? I would say that 5 or 6 years ago, Errol Spence was still a slight favorite. Maybe you would say, nah, man, that's a 50-50 fight, bro. Maybe, but it's not a 50-50 fight anymore. Errol Spence will be the clear favorite going into the fight. But at the same time, I can't get upset at Errol Spence about this. Because like I said, where's he going to go? And a lot of people, I've seen people comment all across YouTube, right? Once this news started to break, I know Blue Blood dropped a video about it. He said that it's more than likely going to be Keith Thurman. And people are already commenting like, nah, man, like, I'm not cool with this fight. This is a bullshit fight. Keith Thurman don't deserve this fight. This, that, and the third. Errol Spence is going to beat his ass. You know, Errol Spence, he's ducking the young lions. He don't want to get in there with like Ortiz and Boots, and he's trying to get an easy picking in Keith Thurman. Look, man, it just, like, I feel what people are saying, but it just doesn't work that way. At the end of the day, right, what we don't want to do is make the comparison to what Bud is doing. Now, those of you who have been following the channel, I've never really taken any sides in the whole Bud Errol Spence saga, right? I'm an Errol Spence fan, but I share the blame more so equally in regards to the powers that be in boxing and why this fight didn't happen. I may lean one way or the other on who I thought should have done a little bit more. But look, my biggest criticism of Bud is not necessarily the fight between him and Errol Spence not happening. I mean, that's an obvious disappointment, but it's his maneuvering after the fight wasn't going to happen. It's the route that he took, which is fighting a number 6 guy for the WBO belt when, I mean, you got plenty of other talent there that are higher ranked fighters and who are, quite frankly, better fighters than the guy that he's about to face. That is not the same in what Errol Spence is about to do. Keith Thurman, if I'm not mistaken, I have to double check, but I think Keith Thurman for the WBC is probably top 3. He's still top 3, if not top 2, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't looked at it in a few days, but it's not the same. It's not the same. So my biggest criticism of Bud is not saying, fuck Bud, you know, it's all his fault because the fight didn't happen. I mean, I'm more so indifferent about that. But you're damn right I'm going to criticize him for fighting a number 6 guy with 3 losses. Period. He's not the same level as a Keith Thurman. Rather you think Keith Thurman is washed or not, it's not the same. Rather you think Earl's going to beat Keith easily or not, it doesn't matter. right? We have to keep the same energy and hold that same consistency for all champions. Bud Crawford is regarded as the pound for pound best on a lot of people's lists. Okay, not just champion, not just a welterweight champion or a unified welterweight champion like Errol Spence, but he is regarded as being one of the pound for pound best fighters in boxing, right? He chose to go and fight a number 6 guy. So my whole thing is, what's up, Rick Ross? I see you. My man Rick, man. My man Rick been supporting me for over a decade, bro. Salute to you. So my thing is, we gotta hold a sense of consistency and treat everybody the same. And at the end of the day, I may not be too thrilled about an Errol Spence Keith Thurman fight just simply because Keith Thurman's not the same fighter anymore. But Errol Spence is fighting basically a true title contender. I mean, look at the rankings. Okay, and to be honest with you, if Errol Spence beats Keith Thurman, even though it's a little bit too late, it's going to be a guy on his already distinguished welterweight resume that Bud will probably never fight. Bud will probably never fight Keith Thurman. So it's another name under Errol Spence's resume that Bud will never have. You know, you guys know that I talk about this type of stuff all the time, right? That when I talk about Wilder and Fury, everybody hangs their hat on Fury beating Wilder twice, just like everybody hangs their hat on Bud being pound for pound. And, you know, he's got all these belts and different divisions and all this shit, right? They hang their hat on that. But look, this is chess, not checkers. It's about what you do now, which will create and cement your legacy when it's all said and done. People can go and hoot and holler all they want about, oh, man, Spence didn't want to fight, bro. Spence didn't want to fight. All right, look. When it's all said and done, and you know, if you want to look at pound for pound, who did Bud beat to become pound for pound? He's fighting a number 6 guy. If Bud continues to fight these number 6s and these number 7s and these number 5s and welterweight, if he decides to move up to 154 and continues to do the same thing, and he's holding a belt here and there, is he going to surpass Errol Spence? If Errol Spence continues to clean up the entire welterweight division and then go up to 154 and beat somebody like Charlo, it's not going to matter, to be honest. Rather, Earl and Bud ever fight. It will be a disappointment for sure. But when it comes to legacy, I mean, look at it for what it is. Who does Errol Spence have? He's got Ugas on his resume. He's got Mikey Garcia. And he's not a real welterweight. He's got him on his resume nonetheless, bro. Who was an undefeated fighter. Who called him out, by the way. Right? He's got solidified. He's got Danny Garcia. He's got solidified names on his resume. And, of course, he's got Sean Porter on his resume before Bud fought Sean Porter. The list will continue to go on and on. Now he beats Keith Thurman. That's another name on his list. When it's all said and done, most people, unless you're overly critical and you dissect the sport, most people are not going to look at Errol Spence's resume when it's all said and done and say, oh, yeah, he beat Keith Thurman, but, Keith Thurman was washed up. Most people are going to say, well, yeah, he's got Keith Thurman on his resume and Bud doesn't. And Keith Thurman was a long reigning champion in the weight class. Right? He was at one time the guy to beat. Everybody, wanted to face Keith Thurman and beat Keith Thurman. It is what it is. Jay Grant Jr. in the building was good. Gnarly Ray was good. Guys, continue to go ahead and vote in the poll. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about this fight between Errol Spence and Keith Thurman. Yeah, I see Lenar saying, "Oh man, Devon Wade, it's not confirmed yet." Well, look, man. All right, it's not confirmed. I'm not the only one putting out this information. By the way, Blue Blood just dropped a video. We all know that Blue Blood, has connections on the inner circles of boxing. But you're right. It's not official yet. So you tell me. Anybody else in the chat? Who else is Spence going to fight? That makes sense. That will still surpass what Bud is doing, because that's what this is all about. Remember, people, this is chess, not checkers. At the end of the day, him choosing Keith Thurman is still a better maneuver, whether you like it or not, than Bud fighting David Avenger, Avian-san, whatever the fuck his name is. It's a bet. I mean, it is a better choice on many levels. Whether you think Keith Thurman is washed up or not, that's like saying, that's like the same people that were saying when Errol Spence was going to fight Pacquiao, people, oh yeah, well, Pacquiao's washed up. So it's not cool if Errol Spence fights him, but it's okay if Ugas fights him. But then Ugas beats Pacquiao. We don't want Errol to fight Pacquiao, but it's okay if Keith Thurman fights him. Like, which one is it? At the end of the day, Ugas has Pacquiao on his resume. Ugas has Pacquiao on his resume. And you motherfuckers were not keeping the same energy about Ugas. Ugas beat Pacquiao. You're all like, damn, Ugas, man, shit, he's legit, bro. You saw what Ugas did to Pacquiao? Damn. Keith Thurman couldn't even do that. But as soon as Ugas goes and fights Spence, oh, man, Ugas ain't even that good, though, bro, to be honest with you. Ugas ain't that good, bro. Like, nah. But you guys were the ones that were praising Ugas. I remember clearly. I got a memory like a fox. I remember it clearly. A lot of you guys, what's up, Sturdy Spice? I got the demon in the building. What's good? Nitty G in the building. What's good? So my question is, people don't want to, they don't want me to jump in the car before the horse. And they say, oh, it's not official yet, Devon. Okay. Well, who's Spence going to fight then? Tell me. Because remember, I'll continue to repeat it as people continue to filter into the building. We got 35 people in here. We should have 35 likes. It's about chess, not checkers. Spence is smart. PBC is smart. They're in the business of boxing, right? They see Ugas go and fight a number 6 guy. They know that, not Ugas, Bud. Bud is about to go fight a number 6 guy. PBC, Errol Spence, the whole team, they know that Bud is going to get criticized for that. Now, the main media boxing, they might not. They might be, oh, it's great to see Bud back. It's so good to see Bud back, come back into the ring. We've missed Bud Crawford, right? But it's us, right? All right? The roots of boxing is us, the true ardent supporters of the sport, the content creators, the ones on the grind, the ones doing interviews, predictions, breakdowns, fight commentary. It's us. We are the ones who are going to criticize, and we are the roots, and we are the foundation. The casuals, they're the volume, they're the money, but we are the foundation, ladies and gentlemen. PBC and Errol Spence, they know that we're out here on the mics and in the comment sections criticizing Bud for taking on a fight against the number 6 guy. We know it's bullshit. So Errol Spence and PBC says, all right, we can't do the same thing, right? We want to go above that. We want to stay above that and be a bit more tactful. So Keith Thurman it is, right? And if it's not Keith Thurman, how do you still stay above the lackluster standard of Bud Crawford? By choosing a number 6 guy. Throw the names out there. Stanionis, Boots. Talk to me. Let me know. right? Now, if people want to ask me in the chat, okay, who would you prefer, Keith or Boots? Well, obviously, it would be Boots because beating. I'll tell people exactly why right now. I'll tell people exactly why right now. Why the fight against Boots is better than Keith Thurman. The reason why it's better is about sending a message. You send a much bigger message, louder message by beating a young, hungry lion who is undefeated and, quite frankly, knocking everybody out. Right? Hate it or love it, Boots Ennis is the boogeyman of the welterweight division. It is what it is. I'm not saying he's number one. I'm not saying he's the best. He has yet to prove that, but he is the boogeyman in the division, right? He's the wild card. He's the dark horse. Whatever you want to frame it as. Beating him sends a bigger message to Bud and Bud's fans by saying, you took on a number 6 guy who we all know is not a threat to you, bro. You're the pound for pound best. You're supposed to be the pound for pound best, and you fight number 6? All right, bet. I'm going to fight the number 1 contender in Boots. Now, if I beat his ass, it puts an exclamation point on what the fuck I've been saying. Bud don't want this smoke. He don't want it. He don't want the heat. Because I'm willing to step into the kitchen and get hot. You feel me? I'm willing to, get burnt and fight a dangerous fighter in Boots Ennis. And if I beat him, hey, Keith is nothing but a legacy maneuver. If you beat Keith, Bud fans will come out here and say, well, one time Keith Thurman is not one time. It's, once upon a time. That's what they'll say. It's not one time anymore. It's once upon a time Keith Thurman. They'll criticize it. They'll criticize the victory. Spence fans are going to criticize him fighting David Avenger. So they're going to turn around and try to give y'all a dose of your own medicine and criticize the victory over Keith Thurman, even though we're all smart enough to know that the victory over Keith Thurman carries much more weight because Keith Thurman at one point in time was the best welterweight there was. But still, it won't be one-time Thurman. It'll be once upon a time. So that's why fighting Boots is much more advantageous for right now. Right now. Not next year, but right now. Because what are they going to say? Oh, well, Boots wasn't ready. Boots wasn't ready. It don't fucking matter if you thought he was ready or not. You're fighting the number 6 dude. You're fighting the number 6 guy, bro. It don't fucking matter. Boots is number 1 contender. Period. End of conversation. The conversation ends right there. It ends right there. He's the number 1 contender. He's the biggest threat. He's the dark horse. Everybody knows that. Everybody does. What kind of threat does this David dude have? And I was browsing around YouTube the other day, and there was a channel out here really trying to build up this fight between Bud and David Avianson. They're, oh man, people discredit David, man. He's legitimate. He's a good fighter. He could be a problem for Bud. I'm like, y'all fucking trying way too hard. I don't need to try with Boots. I don't need to try. That's a dangerous fight. And that's a fight that I would look forward to breaking down, doing film study, and predicting. I would enjoy that greatly. But Bud and I'll probably do it just for the sake of doing it. And I want to be a true boxing fan, even though sometimes I don't like certain fights. But I'll break it down. But I'm not too thrilled about it, to be honest. But it is what it is. So what we'll do to kind of solidify this whole conversation, and make sure y'all hit that like button already. Make sure y'all hit that damn like button already. I'm not going to be here too much longer. I'm just going to hone in on a few extra points. Bear with me. And let's do it. Let's bring up the rankings. Let's bring up the rankings. And I'll prove my point. I'll prove my point, man. All right. So let me share this right quick. You'll see it for yourself. Well, don't take my word for it. You guys know how I do it. Don't take Divine Sense word for it. Don't do it. We will share it. You know what I'm saying? We will share it. All right. So let me blow this up a little bit. So y'all can see that. All right. So hopefully you guys can see it clearly. Where we at? We at welterweight, right? Now, this is from Boxing Scene. And, you know, some people like to use Box Rec, Ring, whatever the fuck it is. This is something that is, I mean, don't take it as the golden standard. All right. But I would say that it's a pretty good viewpoint on how most of the boxing world sees the rankings right now. It's a pretty good viewpoint. Pretty solid. Not the golden standard, but pretty fucking solid. All right. So, WBC, look at right there, ladies and gentlemen. Look at right there. What the fuck was what was I just literally saying? The WBC right now, Keith Thurman is ranked number 1. So, hate it or love it, who's number 1 to Terrence Crawford's WBO strap right now? Who's number 1? Virgil Ortiz. Who's number 2? Jaron Boots Ennis. Who's number 3? Keith Thurman. Who's number 4? Conor Benn. Cody Crowley. And then David Avianson, the guy he's about to fight. But you browse over here to the WBC, Errol Spence being the champ. Who's number 1? There you have it. Are we really comparing number 1 to number 6? Are we really doing that? Are we really going to do that? The WBA. Once again, Virgil Ortiz, Jaron Ennis, Keith Thurman is number 3. And guess what? For the WBA, David Avianson's not even in the top 6. So what the fuck is actually going on? Where is he? Oh, shit. David Avianson's not even ranked in the WBA. Not even ranked. For the IBF, he's ranked number 8. So like I said, don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. Oh, Divine, yeah, he just out here talking shit, man. Hey, the proof is in the pudding right here, man. It's on the screen. Errol Spence has a number 1 title contender right below him, and that is Keith Thurman. That's what it is. Crawford is about to fight the number 6 guy for the WBO, the number 8 guy for the IBF. He's not even ranked for the WBO, and the number 4 guy for the WBC. So, need I say more? Need I say more? Now, Terrence Crawford, he's a WBO champ. He can do whatever the fuck he wants to do. He can do whatever he wants to do. Right? So you got three names right here that you could have fought. Now, I understand Conor Benn. I mean, that man's a cheater. So I'm not going to even put any energy towards Conor Benn. But you got three men right here. See, it's all about statements, right? It's about making a statement. It's about making things abundantly clear. And what Bud needed to do, what Bud needed to make abundantly clear and silence the criticism is tell the whole boxing world that I'm not the one who couldn't get the fight made with Errol Spence. Now, words only carry so much weight, right? It's my word against his word. It's my word against PBC. It's my word against Al Heyman. Whatever the case may be, you're a free agent, right? You're the one that left Top Rank. So it's your word against everybody else's. You want us to take your word, right? Okay. So what's the best way to kind of solidify your word that indeed you are not afraid of Errol Spence? You did everything in your power to make the fight or try to make the fight. The fight fell through because Errol Spence and his team and PBC and all those people, they couldn't get it done. It's not my fault. So what am I going to do to drill home that point? Well, you got to fight, right? I mean, you can't wait around for Errol Spence. I'm with you. If Errol Spence ain't trying to fight you, you can't wait for him. So you got to fight. You got three names right there in the top three. Now, I don't know about other people out here on YouTube. I can't speak for everybody. Everybody holds a different opinion. Everybody has a little bit different energy when it comes to Bud and Spence. But what I will say is that for me personally, if Terrence Crawford said, hey, man, I couldn't get the fight made with Errol Spence. I did everything I could. PBC got in the way. Errol Spence got a boss. I don't. It's his fault. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show everybody how talented I really am. I'm going to fight the next best guy. Let me say that again. The next best guy who is not Errol Spence. So the fucking question is David Avianson the next best guy who is not Errol Spence? I'll make it easy for you. No, he's not. So the best way to send the message is say, I'm going to fight Virgil Ortiz. I'm going to fight Boots Ennis. And fuck it. Fight Keith Thurman then. You can get a hold of Keith Thurman before Errol Spence does. You make it even more difficult for Errol Spence to make another move. But, see, that's what happens, right? Imagine this. Imagine Terrence Crawford pursued Keith Thurman and got the fight with Keith Thurman. That narrows it down for Errol Spence. That doesn't leave much options for Errol Spence because the easiest fight to make for Errol Spence is Keith Thurman. So then you leave Errol Spence with Virgil Ortiz or Boots Ennis. See, if you're Terrence Crawford, you don't want to do that. You don't want him to have the ability, listen to me carefully, people. You don't want Errol Spence to have the ability to sidestep Keith Thurman. Let me put it this way. 2 reasons why, if anybody's wondering, why Bud didn't fight Keith Thurman. 2 reasons. Number 1, if he fights Keith Thurman, he takes Keith Thurman off the table to fight Errol Spence. That leaves Errol Spence with only 2 options, Virgil Ortiz, Boots Ennis. Everybody knows that if Errol Spence beats Boots or Ortiz, it will be a better and greater victory than it would be for Bud to beat Keith Thurman. He doesn't want to give Spence that option. He knows that Keith Thurman is pressuring the fight to go up against Errol Spence for the WBC. He knows this. His people know this. Bomac knows this. By keeping Keith Thurman on the table, it forces Errol Spence to fight Keith Thurman and not take better fights, a.k.a. Virgil Ortiz or Boots Ennis. It is what it is, right? So that's the first thing. The second reason why. If he doesn't get the fight with Earl, but somehow is able to manage a fight with Keith Thurman, who is also a PBC fighter. You've been telling the whole world that the reason why you can't make the fight with Errol Spence is because of PBC, right? So that makes you a hypocrite. If you're able to make a fight deal with Keith, but not Errol Spence. So basically, you can work with PBC, but you can't work with PBC if it's Errol Spence. So y'all see how the pieces fall together now. I'm going to fight the number 6 guy. I'm going to force people to love it because I'm Bud Crawford and I can do what I want. I'm going to get my money. I'm going to get my 10 milli. I'm going to get paid regardless with this new promotional company. They're going to pay me. I don't give a shit about nobody else but myself. Errol Spence will be stuck with Keith Thurman more than likely. Errol Spence gets past Keith Thurman. I have a quick option, right? I got a quick option route to criticize that victory by saying that Keith Thurman was washed up and he's not the same fighter anymore. It's a power move. It's a power play by Bud. Which maybe it doesn't matter if indeed these two men coming off of victories once again, Bud beating David Avianson and then Errol Spence beating Keith Thurman, maybe all this drama will lead into a bigger and better drama going into the fight if the fight ever happens. Anthony Bolton in the building was good. MStax 85. I agree, bro. I agree. Errol Spence needs to perform well regardless of who he fights. He has to perform well. He has to. If he fights Keith Thurman, which I was saying earlier, I'm 85% confident that that's the next fight. He has to perform well. To be honest with you, he should knock him out. He should knock Keith Thurman out. If you go a 12-round war and it's a split decision or a draw or a controversial unanimous decision, yeah, there'll be a rematch and it'll just push the fight with him and Bud even further down the road. And Bud and his team and his fans will criticize the shit out of Errol Spence. Nonstop. Oh, look at me. Y'all said Errol can beat Bud, but man, look at Errol, man. He going to war with an old ass Keith Thurman. That's what they'll say. So if you're Errol Spence, you got to show up and you got to show up big and put on a big performance. Now, God forbid, Bud Crawford goes into a war with David Avianson, and that shit goes 12, and that's a close fight. And then Errol Spence goes in there and knocks out Keith Thurman. Ooh, wee, as the beautiful Deanna Branch would say. Ooh, wee. Imagine if that happens. What's up, Tom? What's up, King Corleone, bro? What's good with you, bro? I see you. Yeah. So look, man, those are my thoughts in a nutshell. So to kind of finish off my points here, Let me just double check the poll. 47% says it's a good fight between Spence and Thurman. 28% says no, it's not a good fight. And then 25% says not really a good fight, but no choice. Demon says, what if Bud loses? Well, if he loses, shit. That'll be some that'll be something. That'll be something. Errol Spence goes in and knocks out Keith Thurman, and Bud go in there and fuck around and lose. To that, I say, if I was Errol Spence, I would either fight Boots right after Keith, or I'll go right up to 154. That's what I would do. If you're losing it, if you lose to David Aviansan, I don't got no time. I don't have, bro. I don't have no time. But Bud should and is supposed to knock David Aviansan the fuck out. Period. No boxing match. No, I'm going to show people I can box and go. Nope. You should. And you need to knock David the fuck out. Period. And if you don't, and it goes 12, and David ends up showing up like Ortiz did against Lomachenko, I'm going to have a lot of questions. Oh, but Divine, it's boxing, bro. Sometimes that's how it works. Fuck all that shit, bro. Fuck all that. That's the only time that you'll ever hear me say this on this mic right here. Because, yes, normally it is boxing. Anything can happen. Oh, but no, sir. No, sirree. Do I hold that sentiment for Mr. Bud, pound for pound Crawford? That's like saying, oh, I'm gonna give Money Mayweather a pass if Robert Guerrero goes in there and beats Floyd Mayweather. And I'm gonna say, it's boxing. It happens. No, sirree, I will not. Bud Crawford is a pound for pound best fighter, according to y'all. Not me. He's on the list, but he's not number one. But y'all have him at number one. So I'm expecting a knockout. The number 6 guy. I'm expecting a knockout. Period. So, Demon, I'm glad you asked that. I'm glad you asked that question because, yeah, that's how I feel about that. I'm not gonna even digest it because it's automatic. If Bud loses or goes to war, like Lomachenko just did against Ortiz, it's pretty much a wrap for me. It's pretty much a wrap for me. Joan Turner, what's up, Joan? He says, come on, Divine. Earl didn't knock out Mikey Garcia. I don't know if you're being sarcastic or facetious, but nobody's knocked out Mikey Garcia. I don't even think has Mikey even been dropped? Has Mikey even been dropped in his career? Mikey went up in weight to fight Errol Spence, remember? He's a smaller fighter. Never dropped, never knocked out. But what about your man David Aviansan? Mr. Aviansan. He been beat. He got 3 losses on his resume. Mikey never been knocked out. So I don't think that's a very fair comparison. I don't think that's a very fair. I mean, bro. Comparing Mikey Garcia to David Avianson, it's like comparing the Patriots to the Detroit Lions. And going into the fight between Spence and Mikey, Spence is supposed to win that fight. He's I think probably the slight favorite, at least. He's the bigger guy. Styles make fights, and Mikey called him out and went up in weight. I mean, the smaller guy is not supposed to beat the bigger guy, right? But Mikey has a hell of a chin and has never been knocked out. But for the sake of argument, let me double check. So I'd like to give myself a little peace of mind. Give myself a little peace of mind. Make sure, because I don't sit up here on, I make videos once or twice a week. You know what I mean? I'm a busy man. I don't dissect the analytics like a lot of these guys. A lot of these content creators go live every day. I can't do that. So, I'll do a fair justice. So to go to my man Joan and just basically make it clear, because you said Errol couldn't knock out Mikey Garcia, right? Okay, I'm with you. But this is the guy that Bud's about to fight. This is the guy that Bud's about to fight, bro. Right here. This is the guy that Bud's about to fight. What I see right here is a knockout loss. TKO, 6th round. Right there. So the guy that Crawford's about to fight, he's been knocked out. He's been stopped. He's been stopped. And he lost to Lamont Peterson by decision. And quite frankly, I mean, who the fuck has he beat? Now that I'm looking at his resume, like, seriously, who has this man beat? Shane Mosley? And he couldn't even knock out an old man Shane Mosley, bro. What are we really? This is a European fighter fighting a bunch of European dudes, fighting for European titles. And now he's got a title shot for the WBO welterweight title against Terrence Bud Crawford, who's a pound-for-pound best. Like, bro, I'm not going to entertain this shit, bro. This is ridiculous. No matter what, David is a top 10 welterweight. Fuck that top 10 shit, bro. Real talk, and no disrespect, bro, but fuck that top 10 shit. Bud Crawford is the pound-for-pound best fighter according to y'all. Not me. Y'all say that. He's the best fighter in the world. You gonna fight number 6? I don't give a fuck about none of that shit, bro. Not when there's a Stanionis out there where you have a chance to unify titles, right? Because what belt is that? The WBO, the WBA, excuse me. The WBA is split between Errol Spence and Stanionis right now. You can go and collect another belt. Nope, don't want to fight him. Don't want to fight Virgil Ortiz. Don't want to fight Ennis. Don't want to fight Thurman. And I bet you Cody Crowley's got a better resume than David Avianson too. I'm not going to entertain, bro, this top 10. So what? Bud is the pound-for-pound best. He's not just, I got a belt. Like, I just got a belt, 6 months ago. I'm a new champion. and I got to get a couple of quick title defenses under my belt. Fuck that. You're the pound for pound best, bro. You should be fighting the best fighters out there. A tune-up? A tune-up? You need a tune-up? The pound for pound need a tune-up? You just got done beating Sean Porter, bro. You just got done stopping Sean Porter. You go from Sean Porter to David Avianson. Who the fuck Sean Porter beat? Now, I'm one of the rare ones on here, by the way. Motherfuckers out here been talking mad shit about Sean Porter. Not me. I given Sean Porter a lot of credit. I gave him credit when Errol beat him, and I gave Bud credit when Bud beat him. But you're going to go from Sean Porter to David Avianson? Really? Sean Porter fought basically everybody. Everybody. Combat Tool Bag was good. Joan Turner says Ortiz turned down the fight. Oh, okay. He turned down the fight. All right, so Boots then. Stanionis then. Keith Thurman then. It doesn't matter. Just because he's in the top 10. Top 10 doesn't necessarily mean anything. You're out there and listen, man. Okay, let me put it to you this way. Where are the best fighters? Where are the best fighters in the world? The great US of A. Yeah? That's where the best fighters in the world are. I don't think anybody disputes that. Now, people from Europe and the UK, they don't like that, but it's fact. Where are there more champions? In America. Who holds more belts? In America. Period. So you out there in Europe fighting a whole bunch of European dudes for European titles, and you somehow you got like what? How many Americans do you have on your resume? You got an old ass Shane Mosley, and you got Lamont Peterson, who you lost to. So the best fighters are here. And even if you want to, even if you want to take the stand and say, "Oh well," but it's top 10. I mean, it's pretty legitimate. Not for a person with the status of Bud Crawford. It is not acceptable to fight a man who's number 6 when you have guys underneath you who are far better fighters, higher caliber, better resumes. You just got done stopping Sean Porter. You just got done doing backflips and celebrating the fact that you were able to stop Sean Porter, but Errol Spence wasn't. Divine Sense, gave Bud credit for that. When you got a lot of channels out here going fucking apeshit at the fact that Kenny Porter stopped the fight. Not me. Divine Sense didn't do that, Joan. Divine didn't do that. I said, oh, shout out to Bud. Shout out to Bud for putting in that work. But you go from Sean Porter to David Avianson. There ain't no fucking way I'm going to celebrate that or be okay with that. And like I was saying earlier, it won't matter. It won't matter. Now, like I said, Joan, God forbid, hey, you're saying, hey, David, David, he's legitimate, Divine. I mean, he's top 10. He's top 10, bro. He's top 10. Well, God forbid, based off of your analysis of David Avianson and how credible he is, God forbid he goes in there and gives Bud a close fight or beats Bud. But I think we don't believe that, right? Joan, you believe, I think we're on the same page here. I think we know Bud is supposed to and probably will beat David's ass, right? We agree on that, right? Yeah, we agree on that. So if we agree on that, my question for you, Joan, and any other Bud supporter out here leaking through the fucking bushes, what's a better victory? Bud beating David Avianson, who we just agreed, Joan, right? We just agreed virtually through the camera. We just agreed that Bud's supposed to beat his ass. What's a better victory? Him beating David or Spence beating Thurman? What's a better victory? Especially if Spence knocks out Thurman. I'll wait. I'm waiting. I don't know. Maybe Joan left. Maybe left. I don't know. But anybody can answer it. Anybody, go ahead in the chat. What will be a better victory? Bud beating the brakes off of David Avianson or Errol Spence beating Keith Thurman and knocking out Keith Thurman? What's a better victory? Not what sounds better or what feels better, but resume-wise and legacy-wise, what's a better victory? I mean, it's not a difficult question. It's not a difficult question. No, we got smart people in the building. Very intelligent people in the building. I'm just confused. I'm honestly confused why people are are you listening to you must be listening to people on YouTube who are tainting your reasoning skills. And I mean that respectfully. You must be subscribed to channels that are just spewing out a bunch of fucking bullshit and blasphemy. Excuse my language. But that's how I feel. I'm honestly confused because there's a lot of people that genuinely don't like Bud. They call him a duck. They call him a pussy. They call him a coward. They call him all these different names and analogies and compare him to making memes out of him and shit. And to each to their own. Everybody's got a voice. You're free to express your opinion. But I don't do that here. I've never used that kind of language towards Bud. But if you think I'm going to sit up here and pretend, because I think these people out here on the mic they are pretending that the Bud versus David Avianson fight is a good fight. They got to be pretending, bro. They got to be pretending. And I don't pretend shit. I'm genuine and authentic straight down the line. And I'm here to tell you, Bud fighting David Avianson, the number 6 guy who's only fought 2 Americans in his entire fucking career. Fighting for nothing but European belts. 3 losses on his record. You want me to pretend that that's a better option than Boots Ennis, than Stanionis? And if you want to say, oh, well, Stanionis, he's a European fighter too. Yeah, but Stanionis is currently a fucking champion. That's what Stanionis is. If you want to get technical. So I think the next fight, I see Jason. What's up, Jason? I think the next fight will be, I'm 85% confident for the people that came in here late. I'm 85% confident that it'll be Keith Thurman and Errol Spence. 85%. So look, I've said pretty much all that I can say on this. And so what I'll do, as tradition here on Divine Sense Boxing, is I'll do you one better, Joan. I'll do you one better. I'll do you one better. I'll do you one better than a wrench. Because I can see how you might be irritated that people are deleting your comments and putting you in timeout. And quite frankly, Joan, like, you know why they're putting you in timeout? And by the way, the link is right there. Joan, click that, and you can come in here and express your opinion. You don't got to worry about nobody silencing you. You have a voice right here on the show. You can come in here and express yourself. So I'll do you one better. But if you're curious, why are people timing you out? It's not because you're a Bud fan. It's not because you're clearly a Bud fan, which is fine. Everybody knows how Divine Sense Boxing conducts business. They know Divine Sense has his own unique style and presentation. I'm like nobody else. Okay? But one thing that my wrenches and my ardent supporters know about Divine Sense is I don't tolerate no bullshit. Okay? You can be a fan of anybody who you want to be a fan of. Everybody knows under the great son of Apollo that Divine Sense is an ardent supporter of Deontay Wilder. But I let Fury fans in here all the time. As long as they don't come in here talking no bullshit. And so you're saying, well, I ain't talking bullshit, Divine. Well, you are. If you're going to sit up here and try to convince me that Bud fighting a number 6 guy is the right thing to do and is the best option available, or you don't want me to criticize Bud's actions when Errol Spence is about to go fight his number 1 mandatory, the number 1 mandatory for the WBC, that is Keith Thurman. So that's why you're being timed out. Because to be honest with you, if you are truly a Bud fan, I'm a Bud fan. I'm a Bud fan. I'll come out and say it. I'm a Bud fan. I'm a Errol Spence fan. Maybe more than I am a Bud fan, but I'm a Bud fan. I've been supporting Bud. Like I said, Joan, I came out here and said, nah, man, I ain't cool with people discrediting Bud's victory over Sean Porter. I said that. Divine Sense said that. I'm not cool with that. So in a way, I'm a Bud fan. But ain't no way as a Bud fan am I going to support him fighting the number 6 guy, like I said, who hasn't fought nobody, who's got 3 losses on his resume. And that's just the way I feel about it. So the link is there. The link is there. Don't be shy. Right? I'm not going to attack you. Just come in and say, this is how I feel, Divine. And I'll listen to it. I've already explained myself in full detail. I can't continue to reiterate and sound like a broken record. You know, I do that every day in my life, in my job, in my work, dealing with family, dealing with these females out here. I got to repeat myself 5,000 fucking times because people don't understand shit. I think I'm quite an articulate person. I'm very good at expressing myself. Okay. I know how to use my words wisely and clearly. And I don't want to continue to fucking repeat myself over and over again. Now, with these women out here, I got to just, I got to take it on the chin sometimes because, they can't help themselves. No disrespect. I love you all, ladies, especially the beautiful Deanna Branch. But it is what it is. I come on here, I'm expecting, rational boxing talk. That's what I'm expecting. So if you're not going to click the link, maybe you're not confident to have your voice heard. Maybe you're shy. Maybe you're at the club right now. I don't know. But like I said, I'm not going to continue to go back and forth about this. Um, I saw all your Joan. I saw all your comments. Okay, I saw them all, and I addressed them. And let's not beat around the bush. Okay, let's not beat around the bush and mince words here, and do hopscotch. I can't stand that shit. Let hopscotch around and beat around the bush. Oh well, I don't hate Earl. It's just that Bud's better than Earl, and like Bud, he's doing all that he can, and Earl's pretty good, but but man, fuck all that shit, man. I can't take it anymore. I can't. If you're a Bud fan and you don't like that I'm criticizing, I essentially I am a fellow Bud fan. So if you're not feeling what I'm saying, then all I can do is drop the link. That's all I can do. I can't, what do you want me to do? You want me to tell my wrenches to be nice? Oh, hey guys, be nice, because we got somebody in the chat, why? Why do I have to tell them to be nice when you keep spewing out the same rhetoric after I've already explained that I don't agree with it, but you keep trying to drill it in. But then you want the wrenches to show some type of empathy towards you when you have an opportunity to come in and speak your mind. When has Divine Sense ever, since the creation of this channel, people come on and I just attack people? And trust me, if you've been a part of the channel, you've seen some crazy shit come on Divine Sense Boxing, let me tell you. All kinds of crazy shit. Now, Joan, I don't think you're that type of person. I don't think you're going to come in here and do some crazy shit. I just think that, for a lack of better words, you are an ardent and strong supporter of Mr. Terrence Bud Crawford, which is fine. So I'll give you the opportunity.
Yo.
We got K-Rod clicking the link. What's up, K-Rod?
Not much. How's everything?
Well, I mean, I'm getting a little bit agitated, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, but I got a lot to say about this. Terrence Crawford is probably equivalent to, who's that one WWE character in the WWE? Talks a lot of shit, but he doesn't back it up.
I don't watch WWE.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to make like a joke out of it. That's basically what I'm saying. He's equivalent to Shad. Talks a lot of shit, but then once it comes to the ring, he doesn't, highly scale well. But basically, when it comes to Crawford, Crawford does not have the drive as a character to do what he wants to do, and he thinks he has more leverage in the game, but it's just that when you look at the scaling, he's not as good as what people try to make him out to be. And I think that, as we see him scale into his later prime or later beyond prime years, I think that's what's showing that he's not really that good anymore. and I think everything that he's shown in his career, he's just basically fallen like apart, and he's just trying to cash out. I think this is basically some sucker shit. Like it's somebody that you thought he was gonna be like a good person, at first, but then he just turns his back against you and he backstabs you. So that's how I view Crawford. He's a very pessimistic individual, and I don't know how to really go like about it. I really do believe he doesn't really want to be great anymore, and he's similar to Marvin Hagler, in a way. Obviously, Hagler is way better than Crawford, but like Hagler said in the past, like you know, I don't love the sport anymore. Like I'm just doing it just to provide for my family and just make the best out of it. But that's what Crawford is. Like he's in that stage of what Hagler used to be, but Hagler he was putting in that work. He was actually like being credible in the division at one point where he was like, even though I don't love the sport no more, I'm actually putting in this work to be great. Versus with Crawford, he's trying to do it, in a completely different manner where he wants to be good, but he doesn't want to put in that work. He doesn't want to take damage. He doesn't want to get hurt. He doesn't want to have his career, highly put on high risk and low reward status where he could end up getting brutally knocked out and just I don't know, just treated like a certain way where he's not gonna be like the same guy no more. So I just think at this point, I think it's fair to say that Crawford is not the greatest fighter in our generation. Errol Spence shows that he's a better fighter. He's a more hunger individual, and people better be happy that Errol Spence did not fight Crawford when they were in their primes, because when Crawford, if he had came into the welterweight division earlier in his career, he would have scaled pretty well. But looking at how the welterweight division came out, I think based off of what we've seen from Crawford's abilities, he's just not able to take a good shot. Like I was told by plenty of other fighters that are, currently fighting in the welterweight division that, two things that you need to have in the welterweight division. You need to have a chin and you need to have power. And if you don't have either one of those or both of them, then you're not going nowhere. So I think Crawford has shown that, he can't contend with the best. I mean, that's just how I view it. People may say not like not to be true, but I just see it to be like Crawford being a absolute coward and he's just like afraid of actually losing. Because if he wasn't afraid of losing, he would have done something, like about it. And I think Crawford wouldn't cared if he had lost, but I just want to see him like actually be in fights where he could have lost, because it's like, there's no shame in losing. Like people really use losing as like a, you know, um, you know, um, they view it as like a sin in boxing. Like, once you lose, you're just automatically terrible, and that's not true. Like, there's so many great fighters that we could go on for days just talking about their greatest losses, but then they ended up being like one of the best all time greats, i.e., Hagler, Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, Jack Johnson, um, who's that one guy? Joe Louis, Henry Armstrong, all the greats. There's no shame in that. So either way, that's basically what I'm saying. Like Crawford shouldn't be worrying about losing, because you're not going to be viewed as a bad fighter. And I think this is where his mental fortitude has been tested, and he's shown that he's not a warrior. He's a he's a low tier wannabe classy warrior. He thinks he's about the best soldier at out of the entire group, but but he's not putting in that work to show why he's a fearless individual. So I think he's still battling fear, and he doesn't want to put himself up to the test against the most dangerous opposition that wants to take him out.
Well, there you have it. K-Rod's opinion. Um, I agree with a lot of it. Perhaps maybe not all of it. Um, but yeah, more or less. I always tell people, man, somebody has to be to blame. I mean, we can't always just say, "Oh, well, it's just it's one of those things." I get tired of it, man. I get really tired of it because it excuses the boxers of any responsibility, right? We basically say, "Oh, well, they're just hopeless. They're hopeless and helpless. The boxing politics are just too strong and too powerful, and the boxers have no voice. They don't know. They can't help themselves in these situations. We just have to sit back and wish, be wishful and hopeful." Like, nah, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Now, I have more or less. I've already like the fact that the Bud Spence fight isn't happening obviously this year, and probably if any time, it's not going to be until the middle part of next year if it does happen. So I've already started to move forward, and I knew that this was going to happen though. I knew that once Bud moves on and signs another fight, it's going to put Errol Spence in a slight awkward position because Errol Spence has expressed on multiple times, on multiple occasions, that the only reason why he's staying at 147 is so he can fight Bud Crawford because the weight is starting to become difficult for him to maintain. So that's one reason why it puts him in a tough position. The other reason is who's out there for him to fight? Even if he wanted to fight Boots, Keith Thurman is essentially breathing down his neck, and so is PBC. They're like, well, if you ain't fighting Bud, which, we want you to fight Bud, but if that fight's not happening, Keith is still technically active. Keith is still technically your number one mandatory. We've been trying to, and we've always been wanting to make this fight. So, Errol Spence, you need to fight. You need to fight Keith. Now, that's not saying that Errol is afraid of Keith or he was ever afraid of him or he doesn't want to fight Keith. But Errol knows that, number one, the Bud fight is much bigger than Keith. Number two, it's arguable that even a Boots Ennis fight is bigger than a Keith fight, even though beating Keith is still good for your resume, to have him on your resume. But, it's an unfortunate situation. You don't want to run up to 154 because then people, well, especially Keith Thurman, he'll go back to, you ducked me, son. You ducked me. You don't want to deal with none of that shit. And, he doesn't want, this is my personal opinion. I don't think Errol, when he's looking at the situation right now with his team, Al Heyman and the whole group, right? And they're thinking, all right, what kind of move can we make so we're not put in the same category as a Bud Crawford? Because as I was saying, as people are coming in late, I was saying this earlier in the live stream that it's not about the mainstream media. The mainstream media in boxing, they don't necessarily give a shit. They want to talk about fights. They want to make money. They want to go and interview fighters and get their clicks, get their views, do their promotions, get their brand out there. So the fact that Bud is coming back is a good thing for mainstream boxing because, oh, yeah, Bud, the pound for pound best, he's back in boxing. It's great for us. It doesn't matter who the fuck he fights. He's back, right? But for us, true, hardcore, ardent boxing fans, the roots and the foundation of boxing is us. It's our voice. It's not Fight Hype. It's not ESPN. It's not Top Rank. It's not, quite frankly, Fight Hub and all these big channels out here. It's us. It's the Divines. It's the K-Rods. It's the BFTBs. It's the Drew Titans. It's these guys and all the people that come into the comment section. We are the ones who put the real pressure on the fighters. We're the ones who ask the tough questions. We're the ones who are not allowed press passes. Okay? Errol Spence and his team, they're aware that us, right, the people that I just mentioned, we're criticizing Bud every single day out here, saying that him fighting a number 6 guy is bullshit. I believe that Errol and people on his team, they watch YouTube, they pay attention, they know what's being said out here, and they care about it. And they don't want to do what Bud's doing. They don't want to go and fight a number 6 guy or number 5 guy or just leave 147 and vacate the belts and go up to 154. They want to do one better than Bud because they want to prove a point that, although we couldn't get the fight with Bud, I'm willing to fight a real legitimate threat and do what's right for boxing. So there are two ways of that. One is the legitimate threat route, which would be to fight somebody like Boots, right? Who is the dark horse of the division. Or you do what's right for boxing and you fight your number 1 mandatory, who happens to be Keith Thurman. And whichever route you choose, it's going to be better than Bud's decision to fight the number 6 guy, David Avinson. Simple as that. Now, going back to Joan, who is still in the chat. You're still in the chat. You've been timed out. You have been bopped up upside the head. You have fell down the slide. And you continue to go up and try to go down the slide again. Even though that slide is hot as fuck and it's burning your ass. But for whatever fucked up reason, you keep climbing the ladder and going down that hot slide. When all you can do is go over to the Kool-Aid stand and get something nice and cool to drink and chop it up with your boy Divine Sense Boxing. It seems like a much more logical thing to do. You want me to address your comments in the chat. I don't want to hear none of this. Timelines and what about this and what about that? It's very simple, Joan, and anybody else out there lurking through the shadows who's a Bud fan. I made it abundantly clear. It doesn't matter how much you twist it and turn it, nitpick it, beat around the bush, and hopscotch. Bud fighting the number 6 guy. Because this is my complaint, Joan. All this other shit you talking about, it's irrelevant. I don't know what you're talking about. My whole criticism, and you came in here, and let me recap. You came in here and you said, oh, but Devon, man, David Iverson, he's top 10. So that tells me that you're okay with it, that you're trying to justify that maneuver. I don't think it's justifiable. I think it is a poor maneuvering job by Bud Crawford, who's the pound-for-pound best fighter. And I say that in bold, capital, underline, in quotations. He is the pound-for-pound best, according to y'all. Not me, but to y'all. Bud fans. Because when you make the case of him being better than Errol, or you think that he'll beat Errol, or he has a better resume than Errol, or he'll be an all-time great or higher on the all-time great list in comparison to Errol. One of the biggest things you guys use as ammunition is, oh, well, he's pound for pound. He's pound for pound higher than Errol Spence. So by using your own ammunition against you, Joan, are you going to hold the same standard? That standard, that luster the shine that Bud has, right? The magnificent shine that he has of being pound for pound best. Are you going to hold him to a standard as a Bud fan and demand him to fight nothing but the best? David Avenson is not one of the best. Like, can I make it any more clear than that? Divine, I don't link up for a reason. Nothing against you. Well, I don't know what else to tell you, Joan. Okay, you don't link up for. I mean, I don't know what to say to that. I don't know what to say to that. But you seem like a passionate Bud Crawford fan. But if you're really trying to get a message out there and stand your ground in defense of Bud Crawford, which you have every right to do, you're not going to get it done in the comment section. It's just not going to happen. And I don't know what else to say about it. I all you got to do is come backstage, turn on your cam so I can see that you're not some fucking weirdo. And then you can turn your cam off, just like K-Rod. He ain't got his cam on, but I know K-Rod. And use your voice to express your opinion. And and when people don't want to click the link and use their voice, I'm sorry to say it, Joan, but it makes you suspect. It just does. It makes you suspect. Either you don't truly believe in the things that you're saying, or you just want to troll. And you don't want to be exposed for being a troll. So either you don't want to be exposed for being a troll, or you don't want to be exposed for not truly believing in what you're saying. And, I do the same thing. I go around channels, people out here talking some dumb shit, people pop in a link. I drop in all the fucking time. I go behind enemy lines all the time, Joan. Now, what's the difference between me and you? There ain't no difference. I got a voice just like you do. And I come in respectfully. I give my opinion. I've had people curse me out. I've had people go crazy and kick me off panels. I've had people try to laugh and chastise me and personally attack me. It doesn't deter me. It actually makes me stronger. So, at least for you, you're not walking into that. You're walking into a situation where, you want to sit at the buffet table with all my beautiful family here in the chat. We've been chopping it up and eating at the buffet table, and you want to come sit down at the table. But you didn't bring a dish, no dessert, no nothing. I mean, can I get a peach cobbler? Can I get a gallon of vanilla ice cream? Can I get something? You want to come and sit at the table and have a conversation with my family, and you can't even bring some brownies. That'll make no damn sense to me. That'll make no damn sense. Jeff Spark in the building was good. So, you know what? It's fine. You continue to want to comment in the chat. You know what? I'm not going to beg you. I'm not going to beg you. I don't beg. I don't chase. I don't beg. That's why I tell these chicks out here. I tell them the same shit. Hey, I keep the same energy in real life, on the mic, on YouTube, whatever. I mean, I'm not going to chase and I'm not going to beg. Either you want to take part or you don't. At the end of the day, you are going up against the grain. Your opinion is different from everybody else's. We had somebody in here, 4 or 5 days ago? Forget the gentleman's name, but he was a Bud fan, and we chopped it up on here for more than an hour. You know what I mean? And it's just, I'm not going to sit up here and frustrate myself over someone who doesn't want to express themselves. Just not going to do it. So you're free to continue to chat in the comment section. And if people time you out, then I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not gonna sit up here and be a dictator over my wrenches when you clearly don't want to come in and express yourself. So it is what it is. But like I said, I want to make it abundantly clear, Joan. If you don't want to come in and express yourself, it means one or two things to me. Because I don't believe that, oh, I'm shy, or I don't want to get on the cam, or oh, I'm, sitting in the bathtub, or whatever the fuck kind of excuse people might come up with. I don't think so. Okay, we both know that. So for me, it's one or two things. One, you don't really believe in the things that you're saying, and you don't want to be exposed. Or two, you're just a troll, and you don't want to be exposed to being a troll. And that's the bottom line. So I'll keep it at that and keep it moving. What do you mean link up? What does that mean? Link up. We're not linking up. You literally click the link and say, hey, Divine, it's Joan. How are you doing tonight? Hey, I'm doing pretty good. What's on your mind, Joan? Well, what's on my mind is I think this, and this, X, Y, and Z about Bud. What do you feel about that, Divine? Oh, thank you for your time and your energy and your comments, Joan. Here is my thoughts. And, we can either agree or agree to disagree. Thank you for your time, Joan. No problem, Divine. Have a nice fucking night. Happy Halloween. And enjoy your life. That is it. I don't know. Link up. That sounds weird. Link up. I don't know. Just click the fucking link that I put in the chat and come in. And I'm going to do it. This is it. This is the last time. This is the last time. Yeah. Hey, what did I say I was going to do last time? Where the fuck's my phone at? What y'all remember what I said last time we had people like this come in here? Y'all remember what I said, right? Next time we have somebody in here on this bullshit, I get out my handy dandy timer. So, this is what we do. Joan, time is ticking. Right there. You got T-minus 2 minutes to click the link. And that is that. And that's about all the time I have and the patience I have left within me. And quite frankly, unfortunately, you're going to feel the wrath of Divine Sense Boxing if you ain't going to come in here because the other day, a female straight pissed me off with the same type of bullshit. So I don't have patience for it tonight. Just don't. So now you got T-minus 90 seconds.
Devon, like I was gonna ask, if Crawford does get brutally knocked out by David Evanesian, can we just be fair to say that he's not that good of a fighter?
I already said, I think before you came in here, or maybe you were here, I'm not sure, but if Bud, I mean, not even just get knocked out, in my opinion, if he goes to war with David, and it's like a controversial decision, split decision, draw, or anything like that, like if there's a situation like we just saw between Lomachenko and Ortiz, if I'm Errol Spence, I handle my business with Keith Thurman or whoever it may be. Maybe you try to entertain the idea of boots. And if you can't get it, fuck it. I'll go right up to 154 and go on to bigger and better things and grab some more belts. I ain't worried about Bud anymore. Because what are Bud fans going to say? What are Bud fans going to say? Oh, he's ducking what? Ducking a guy who can't beat a number 6? You can't take care of a number 6 guy. What the fuck do you think he's going to do with Errol Spence? I mean, look, come on, people. I said it earlier. You want me, Joan? You got 30 seconds. You want me to give some hopes and dreams to this guy David? Like he's some legitimate fighter. But that would be like me saying, oh, you know what? I think Robert Guerrero's got a good chance of beating Floyd Mayweather. That don't make no fucking sense, does it? Now, but the difference between Robert Guerrero and David Abington, y'all want to know what it is? Even though I knew Floyd was going to beat his ass. You know what the difference is? The difference is Robert Guerrero was a champion. If I'm not mistaken, he beat Andre Berto. So, you know, that's just another little food for thought. So anyways, the links are now closed. Joan refused to come in. So I will end it at that. And I will go to the gym and carry on with my business and my life. And I find it funny that I come in here and, you know, I was talking about Errol Spence and Keith Thurman, and somehow, you know, the conversation, why does that always happen? Why does it always get swung to, well, y'all ain't being nice to Bud. Y'all give him no credit. Bud's the pound for pound. He's the pound for pound best, bro. Like, why you doing this, Divine? I'm not doing shit. Y'all doing it to yourself. Y'all doing it to yourself because you're trying to justify him fighting a number 6 guy. You're trying to justify that. And you're literally doing it to yourself. You're literally doing it to yourself. Don, I see you with that super sticker, bro. I appreciate you, man. The king of super stickers right here, my man Don. Thank you. But yeah, y'all do it. Y'all do it to yourself, man. Y'all do it to yourself. Y'all get frustrated. Divine Sense ain't making you frustrated. What am I doing? Talk to your man Bud. Go email Bud. Somebody go call Bomac. Somebody get in contact with Bud. Let's find out what's really happening. Oh, because if you can bring me evidence, if you can bring me real evidence that Errol Spence ducked Bud Crawford, sure, I got no problem exposing that. I got no problem. You bring it. My email is readily available. DivineSenseReborn@gmail.com. If you got some articles, if you got some links, if you got real hard evidence that Errol Spence ducked Bud, and also what I would like for you to provide is that Bud had no choice but to fight David Abington. There was no other option. He couldn't fight Boots. He couldn't fight Ortiz. He couldn't fight any of these other dudes. Stanionis, nobody. All he had was David Abington. Send me that information, and I will come on here and say Divine Sense was wrong. Bud is the pound-for-pound best. He is fucking amazing. He's a remarkable human being, and Errol Spence ducked him. That's what I'll do. You have my word. You have my word. DivineSenseReborn@gmail.com. And if you don't like to use email, then you can hit me on the gram, IG, Divine Sense, @DivineSenseBoxing. And that's that. But I'm not going to hold my breath. What's up, Stephen Elder? Mac in the building. What's good with you? Jones says, my medical condition prevents me from hitting the league. It's fine. I'm not saying that it's real or not real, but there's a little thing called, I will say this, Joan. If you do have a medical condition, my thoughts are with you. But I'll say this, though. There's a thing called on these boxing YouTube streets. Little thing called crying wolf. And people come up with all kind of fucking excuses on why they can't come in here and click the goddamn link and say how they really feel about shit. My dog died. I got into a car accident last night. I ate some spicy food and my throat's burning. I'm stuck on the toilet. I'm taking a bath. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. I should make a whole video about that list. I probably should. I should make an exclusive video of that list of excuses of haters and trolls and make it exclusive for my channel members only. That's what I should do. So thanks for putting that in my mind, Joan. But like I said, if you have a medical condition, my thoughts are with you. I hope you're getting the treatment and care that you need. And make it abundantly clear one last time. I have no problem with you being a Bud fan. I don't. It doesn't change my life one bit. But I do have a problem if you expect me to give Bud credit for fighting a number 6 guy. It's just not going to happen. So that's that. Demon, trust me, bro. You might want to consider becoming an official member of the channel because I'm fucking dead serious about it. I got screenshots and receipts for days of emails and DMs of people saying, like, I would love to debate you, Dubai, about this shit. And a lot of it stems from Wilder Fury, by the way. But I would love to debate you, man. But, you know, it's just that I got into a car accident. Or, I got stuck, you know, in traffic all the time. And I ate some spicy food last Friday night and my throat was burning. Like, swear, I got all the receipts. Y'all might want to consider becoming an official member of the channel. Cost you like $1. And I will put out that video. And you will be fucking shocked about the shit that people say to avoid debating. Hey, I'm gonna go before I really start cooking, man. I should probably go. It's gonna get out of hand. But look, man, I appreciate everybody who did stop by tonight. It was just me just giving you my thoughts, more or less, about Errol Spence and Keith Thurman. I think that fight's going to happen next. I'm 85% confident, as I stated at the beginning of this live stream and have said several times throughout this video. And rather you like the fight or not, with 43% in the poll said that they don't mind the fight. They think it's a pretty good fight between Spence and Thurman. Rather you like it or not, it will be a better fight and a better resume fight, I think, is to be more specific, than what Bud is about to do by fighting David Avianson. So rather you like the Keith Thurman fight or not, the fact of the matter is, when it's all said and done, Errol Spence will have Keith Thurman on his resume, and Bud will not. Bud will have a David Avianson on his resume, which don't mean shit, quite frankly. So listen and weep. And now, if Errol turns around and surprises us all and announces that he's fighting Boots Ennis, I will be ecstatic. I would think that, for me personally, much bigger risk and a much bigger statement to Bud and all of his fans if he fights Boots. But we'll wait and see. Errol Spence has tweeted out and posted that an announcement is coming soon. So we'll wait patiently for the verdict. But like I said, I'm 85% sure that it's going to be Keith Thurman next. We got the family in the building. Mr. Drew Titan coming in. Salute to you, Drew. I'm assuming that you're probably getting off work right now, so I appreciate you dropping by late tonight to show some love, man. Much appreciation. But yeah. Oh, 100%, Steven. Keith is a real name at the end of the day. He may not be the same fighter. But it is a name nonetheless. So it is what it is, guys. You guys were all here to witness. I tried my best to get people to come in here and click the link and have a conversation. They don't want to do it. People are sick. They're choking on spicy food. They are stuck on the toilet. They're in the bathtub. They get in car accidents. They stub their toe. They're busy twerking on TikTok. Whatever the case is, it is what it is. I can't force or beg people. All I can do is just keep it moving. But what I will do is just that, is keep it moving. About to hit this gym. If you guys don't know and don't follow me on the gram, make sure you do that. I'm getting ready to do a competition here in the beginning of December in Bali. So it's a huge fitness competition on the beach. It's a big kind of pivotal moment in my life. So I'm training really hard for that, which is why I don't go live as much. But I try to get it in when I can. So it really does mean a lot to me, for those people who do come in and continue to show the love, even though I don't go as live as much as I would like to. But that is my excuse, I guess. I think it's a good excuse. I'm trying to put in that work and do big things out here. But nonetheless, man, I put out my thoughts about Errol Spence. We knew this was going to happen. The Bud fight falls through. Errol Spence has to make a big decision. We'll wait and see what it turns out to be. I think it's 85% going to be Keith Thurman, but we'll wait and see, man. But I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. Y'all stay strong and stay positive out here. I'll be back on here hopefully within the next couple of days. I'll catch you guys on the next one. K-Rod, I appreciate you dropping by, bro.
Yep. Thank you.